My background is in fitness. I've been in the fitness industry as an exercise physiologist first, and then as a personal trainer second for over 25 years now. That feels like a whole lifetime. But Jamie and I met actually as personal trainers together. And so I've been a personal trainer for 25 years. I am a Pilates instructor and education certifier. I own a gym with my husband. I coach high school gymnastics. And I'm an extremely active person. As you can imagine, with owning a gym and being a trainer, I'm on my feet and moving all the time. I work with a number of companies for virtual fitness as a contractor for them. So my job, my livelihood requires that I'm physically not only active and upright, but capable. Spotting high school gymnasts, some of them are my size or bigger, being able to spot them on their floor tumbling is, crucial. And I love that I'm active. I think having a healthy, active lifestyle is uh, a gift, a blessing. As a human being, we're made to move, and I never ever want to be in the kind of pain I was in over the last 2 years ever again. Uh, Spoiler alert, it's because of these patches that I'm able to physically function. And Jamie sent me messages and shared the patches and tried to share the science with me for a long time. Um, but I'm gonna go back a step before I get too far on the path of the patches. I had an injury 2.5 years ago. It was the fall 2 years ago. Um, Nothing specifically happened. As you can imagine, I've been so active my whole life. I was a gymnast in high school. I played college tennis. Um, I have beat up my body, so to speak, right? In a good and healthy way, in a way that I find healthy. But 2 years ago, I was teaching a group fitness class and I just had to stop. I couldn't physically move. And then I tried to keep going and I couldn't jump and everything just like seized up and hurt. You could call it an acute injury, like something happened, but really I think it was more overuse of just my physical body. I'm going to call it a flare up of an injury we're going to call it herniated discs, which everyone probably has, whether they're symptomatic or not, um, varies. And I worked with, over the course of 2 years, I worked with three different physical therapists, two different chiropractors, um, an acupuncturist, and I had the privilege of working with a Native American woman where we did a sweat lodge. I went and did an actual sweat with her. It was amazing. Um, Over the course of that time, I would get a little better and then go right back to where I was. A little better, go right back to where I was. It was never really, the things I was doing was never really healing it. Throughout that time, I was told either, yes, you should get an MRI, or no, you shouldn't, because we already know what's happening. We already know it's herniated discs. You're not going to see anything different in the MRI. So I didn't, which I don't think I'd treat it any differently had I had an MRI or not. When you're in pain and you're used to being active, those of you listening, that when you have an injury or you're in pain or someone you love is in pain to the point that they can't function, it's life altering, especially when it affected my job and I couldn't walk. There was a month where I couldn't physically walk and I couldn't stand up. So if you're familiar with rubber bands, right? Well, there's something called it's from a Rogue. It's called Rogue brand. It's a band that's about this wide. Let's call it 4 or 5 inches wide. A long rubber band that's not round or looped, but it's flat and long. I would wrap that around my pelvis and my torso to create a transverse abdominis and decompress my discs so that I could stand, so that I could continue working. My job as a trainer requires that if I'm not working, I'm not making money. So I'd wrap this rubber band around my torso, put my clothes over the top of it, and just suck it up. Now, I don't tend to take things. I probably could have taken some anti-inflammatories, some Advil or something, and I didn't. I was doing rehab work, core stabilization exercises. I would ice my back. As I mentioned already, I was at physical therapy and chiropractic, and I'd work with someone for 6 to 8+ months and really give it a good try. And everyone had different opinions on what I needed. I started to think that I just need to find a different career. Like I can't live this way anymore. I always joke where like, okay, I can't do an active job. I need to be an accountant. I just need to sit at a desk and just, and those that know me, I hope are laughing because they're like, there's no way Jodi, crazy, busy, physical Jodi is ever going to be an accountant because I can't sit still for long enough to actually do that. Um, and I didn't want to do that, but I felt as though something had to change, something had to really give because most of the days I was in tears and I thought I was hiding it from clients. Like, I'm fine, I'm fine. I would have to hold my legs in order to bend forward. I would support myself on a counter in order to pick something up. And, you know, when you're in the thick of something, you don't realize how bad it's gotten until you look back and it's like, oh, I used to be able to, you know, run 6 miles a day. I'd have 20,000 plus steps on my watch. And I saw that dwindling down. I saw my overall activity really dwindling down. Um, so fast forward to, a month and a half, not even, that I've been using these patches. There was one thing that happened that made me call Jamie and be like, okay, let me learn more about these patches. I want the science about these. I had what I would call a flare up where I was on my back for 2 days, couldn't walk, couldn't stand. I was right back to where I was a year and a half ago. And I ended up scheduling an MRI. And in between the time that I had the MRI and got the results and had my first appointment with the surgeon, I'd started using the patches. And this is important to the story because in the MRI, I learned that I had 4 herniated discs, 3 annular tears, and 2 modic tears. And modic tears are essentially fractures within the end plates of your bones between the 2 vertebrae. So above the discs and before the vertebrae itself, the end plates. So I'm like, oh, that explains a lot. And the surgeon said, this is why you're in such pain. There's no amount of core strength. There's no amount of icing. There's no amount of physical therapy right now that's going to make this pain go away. Your only option is surgery. We're going to start with the cortisone injection, but then you're going to need to have back surgery. And I had this MRI, started using the patches. I use the X39 on my C7 and Ion. Am I saying that right? AE?
Eon.
Eon, thank you. Eon at the point of most pain, which is my L5S1, my SI joint. And by the time I had my appointment with the surgeon and the physician's assistant that spoke with me, I'm sitting at the desk like, I'm actually good now, guys. I'm fine. And they're like, well, no, you have like 2 fractures in your back. Are you sure? I'm like, I think I'm good. Like, I don't even really know why I'm here. And they're kind of like, she's a crazy person. And they have me stand up and they have me do all these tests, like flexing, twisting, standing. I'm like, that doesn't hurt. I mean, maybe it'll hurt tomorrow, but it doesn't hurt right now. And I said, but I'm using these patches. And the surgeon said, well, you know, placebo effect, but it's gonna hurt again once that wears off for you. It's been a month and I continue to feel better. I continue to live pain-free. I went for a 4-mile run on Sunday. And when you have fractures in your spine and herniated discs, it sounds insane to do that. I spot my gymnast. I'm in the middle of gymnastics season. And it's changed my life, to put it mildly. Like, and I can't imagine not having these because I'd be in a hospital bed for sure, and I'd be having back surgery right now.
So I just wanted to
Yeah.
understand, Jodi, you've been wearing X39 and Eon for 4 to 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and you basically go to have your consult for your surgery, and you're moving all around, and you go, I don't really need it anymore, and you walk out.
Yeah.
And that is insane.
Actually, I called there recently. I said, so you have this order for me to have a cortisone injection first. And then if that doesn't work, you want to do this surgery where they go in and they essentially burn the nerve. They just kill it. I mean, I don't know if there's long-term effects to that, but it sounds kind of like there could be. And I said, well, I actually have these patches right now, so I'm good. I don't think I need it, but how long does that order last? Like 6 months, a year? And I said, just in case, right? If this thing doesn't work out, right? But it just makes me laugh because a cortisone injection, I'm self-employed, TMI for you guys, but as a self-employed person, I'm also self-insured. one cortisone injection would cost me $1,900. Do the math on that, $1,900. Now, I would submit it to an insurance company and they would cover X, Y, or Z. The surgery itself is $12,000. Okay. So outside of missed work, where I don't get paid and don't make any money if I don't work, and the cost of doing that, the cost of these, like, hello, it's a cup of coffee a day.